Imagine a set of steps or stairs and each step takes you that bit higher. It's the same with intervals, where musical notes will carry you to new heights. So let's break it down with some basics. Right here is a minor second, playing the notes E to F, just one half step up from our root note E. This interval alone put the fear into millions of movie lovers from the 1970s and beyond, that being from the soundtrack of Jaws, of course. However, a major second is just as popular and recognisable, fills us with a celebration, joy and cheer, and an absolute bucket load of sugar. These simple steps are absolutely everywhere in music. Twinkle Twinkle, on the other hand, has been helping babies and parents go to sleep for decades, for the most part. This lullaby begins with a perfect fifth. Now maybe lullabies don't do it for you, but rock or pop music, that's what tickles your trout. Then the Knack's My Sharona is a perfect example of a catchy bass hook. This features a bouncing octave interval. Now that's all well and good, Chris, I hear you say, but how exactly do I read and write intervals? Well, later on in this video I'm going to be highlighting the 3 simple steps that will allow you to do this. But these only work if you follow each step in order. So let's get into the nitty-gritty and explore basic intervals in more detail. Picture yourself sitting at a piano. You strike one key that plays a low note and another key that plays a high note. The musical gap between these 2 notes is an interval. It's like measuring the distance between 2 points, but by using sound. To understand how big or small the interval is, you count the steps or notes from the first one played, or the lowest note, to the second note. Once again, think of these like walking up a set of stairs. Now, question for you. Why are they called stairs indoors and steps outdoors? Now this is where things get even more interesting. We can have minor seconds, thirds and sixths, but today we'll just be focused on majors in relation to grades 1 and 2 music theory. Now we can divide intervals into 2 groups, melodic or harmonic. Melodic intervals are 2 notes that are played in order, for example in the use of a riff or a solo. Here we'll look at the degrees of the melodic intervals relating to the tonic note C, or first note. Remember to always count the tonic as note number 1. Now playing the C twice is called a unison, which is the same musical pitch. A full octave can also be written as 8 with the letters B and E which follows, or you could say an eighth. Harmonic intervals are notes that are played together, for example like the use of chords. These tend to sound a lot fuller compared to melodic intervals, as you're playing 2 or more notes at the same time. Now whether you're playing notes in sequence or together, intervals help you identify pitch and measure how notes relate to each other in the world of music. Okay, so now that you're confident, it's time for you to test your newfound skills by answering a set of 4 simple questions based around basic intervals. As I mentioned earlier, and being a man of my word, we now have a simple 3-step approach to intervals, which will take your knowledge to the next level. Step number 1, always identify the lowest notes. In this case, we're using a middle C. Count this note as number 1. Always start counting the lower notes, no matter what order you play them. Really important. Step number 2, identify the high notes and then name it. Go back to your lower notes and then count how many steps there are from the low notes, being 1, to the higher note. In this example, we have 5 steps, which means this is known as a perfect fifth. Step number 3. Now it's important to remember we're working with grades 1 and 2, as I mentioned before. This is crucial for anyone that's preparing for an exam or preparing to study for an exam. Once again, minor, augmented and diminished intervals will not be covered in this tutorial, but will be available in a future video. However, the half steps of B to C and E to F, which features no back keys on a keyboard in between, can still affect your results. Always triple check your answer, especially where these keys or notes are actually featured, and count manually to avoid any mistakes. Intervals aren't just technical, they evoke a lot of emotion where music's concerned. A minor third might bring a tear to your eye, as within Georgia on My Mind by the legendary Ray Charles, while a perfect fifth in Coldplay's Clocks might lift your spirits. Now it's your turn. Pick a song, any song, maybe Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb, or might be the jazz sound of Norah Jones, Don't Know Why. Take a look at the sheet music online. See where you can identify the intervals. Listen to the song. How does it make you feel as you go along? And more importantly, make sure to share your findings in the comments. Ledger lines are like musical elevators. They take notes to higher or lower floors on the musical staff. When notes go beyond the lines and spaces of the staff, these ledger lines come to the rescue. They're like the unsung heroes of sheet music. To master where any note sits, remember that each line or space represents a note on the musical alphabet. C, E, G, B, D, F, A. Using this knowledge, you can quickly figure out any note on the treble clef ledger lines. For the bass clef, it's essentially the same as the treble clef, but in reverse. The notes on the lines of the bass clef staff are E, G, B, D, F, A, and C. Practice makes perfect, so spend some time reading and writing notes on the bass clef ledger lines. When both the treble and bass clefs appear together, it's called the grand staff. The middle C note is shared by both clefs, serving as a musical handshake. So now you're one step further in your musical journey. Let's take a listen to all the notes in both the bass clef and treble clef. Taking a break from my narration, and listen to the music we all love. Remembering the notes on the extended ledger lines can be tricky, but mnemonics or easy to learn phrases definitely can help. Here's a couple I made earlier. For the treble clef notes in between the ledger lines, you can use phrases like good bears dance freely, or great big dogs feast. Now here's a bonus tip. You're welcome. The same notes G, B, D and F also sit on the lines of each staff. It's always good to recognise patterns in music because these happen all the time. This is a little bit easier to remember as the ledger line notes spell out the words ACE, A-C-E. For those who love their phrases or mnemonics, or a challenge, you can use all cows eat. The same sequence of notes sits in between the staff lines of both clefs. That's right, now it's all starting to make sense, I'm sure. It's time to test your newfound ledger line prowess with some musical brain teasers. I've taken the time to put together a series of on-screen questions, only 3 for now. Let's see if your knowledge stacks up, and if you're craving for more, you can then download that sheet for free. The link is in the description. Found at the beginning of a music score, right after the clef and key signature. Time signature consists of 2 numbers stacked on top of each other. The top number tells you how many beats there are in a measure or bar, and the bottom number shows you the note value that equals 1 beat. So for example, in 4/4 time signature, there are 4 beats per measure, and a quarter note or crotchet gets 1 beat. This helps musicians understand the rhythm and pace at which to play the music. Today, we will be going beyond simple time signatures, looking at 2/2, 3/2, 4/2 and 3/8, which all relate to the Grade 2 ABRSM qualification requirements. Beyond the basics, have you ever wondered how a simple sequence of notes can capture the essence of adventure, or how the same melody can morph, reflecting various emotions and stories? Now let's embark on a fascinating journey through the world of time signatures, where every beat and rhythm tells a unique story. Our adventure starts in the realm of 2/2 time, a domain where melodies march onwards with a bold pace. This is known as cut time or à la brève, which means each measure has 2 beats, and each beat equals a half note. Now this is useful for faster music because it helps musicians read and play quick parts easily. 2/2 timing is often found in the heart of country music, brings to life tales of determination and grit, classics like Jolene by Dolly Parton, and Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash. Highlighting the power of 2/2. As we venture into the reflective world of 3/2 time. In sheet music, the time signature of 3/2 is represented by a 3 atop a 2, positioned right after the clef and key signature before the music notes begin. The 3 indicates that there are 3 beats in each measure, while the 2 signifies that a half note or minim equals 1 beat. The total duration of notes within a single measure will equate to 3 half notes. The journey continues as we ascend to the majestic lands of 4/2 time. In this space, our melody takes on a noble quality, transforming into an anthem of hope and resilience. The music in 4/2 time calls to the brave, inspiring tales of courage. We now arrive in a lively world of 3/8 time, where a melody adopts a light-hearted rhythm. Music in 3/8 time often has a lively, upbeat feel and is used in music such as waltzes and polkas, as well as in folk and pop music. In the joyous bounce of 3/8, music teaches us to find delight in the unexpected and to dance through life with an open heart.